Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me here for the 100,000th video on YouTube about Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez. It's a new line at Sephora and I've been playing with it for a little over a week now. I've been experimenting with these different products and I gotta say right off the bat, I haven't necessarily had the best experience with everything so far, so I really wanted to take a hard look at the way I was using the products. And as we go product by product, I'll tell you about maybe some of the methods that didn't end up working so well for me, and hopefully what I do today works better. What I've done is I looked into the products a little bit deeper. I went into Sephora's website and I watched every video on every product that was an accompanying video where Selena is sitting there. I mean, it looks like old school YouTube, like she's one of us, kind of. And she was sitting in a bedroom with a bed behind her and maybe a little stack of books or something in the background, and she's actually demoing the different products and just giving a little background on the products and how she likes to apply them. And I do think it's important to take in this kind of thing, and sometimes we just, we get new stuff, we just want to throw it on, we just want to use it how we want to use it and let the chips fall where they may. But I do remember once upon a time being a person who created a product, with the wants and the needs palettes. And I remember how it felt when I thought, gosh, if they would have only taken the time to watch my video, they would have known A, B, and C about why I did that, or, how these might work best, or what the intention was. That's an important detail, isn't it? So what I wanted to do was dig into these products and see what her intention was, and see exactly how she applies them, and just do the makeup look like she says, These are kind of buried in there. If you're looking at a product and you're looking at the picture that's over like on the left-hand side of your screen, if you're looking up the foundation, let's say, you'll scroll through a few pictures of the foundation and swatches and pictures, and then buried in there's a little clip of her sitting there actually using it. And so I took notes. I took notes on my phone last night. I studied this stuff hard, and I'm ready to apply these products in many cases in a different way than what I'd been doing, and we'll see if it helps. Maybe it won't help, maybe it will. With this line, the packaging is adorable. I absolutely love these little balls on the caps. I think those are so cute. There's also some more like just kind of common looking products, but I really love those. I think that was a really cute decision, and like, why aren't more brands just sticking a ball on top of things just for decor? Like if I was doing makeup building blocks, this would be a great like top of my tower, would it not? Okay, weightless is a big buzzword for this brand. If you're watching Selena's videos, you'll hear her describe many of the products as weightless and easy to blend, and liquids seem to be a main texture choice here. So we are doing liquid blush and a liquid highlight. I don't have a powder from this brand, actually. I think they have something in the form of a touch-up, like powder puff type deal. There might be some powder there, but like just in terms of a loose powder or a pressed setting powder or something like that, that's not available at this time. And that's okay. I'm just laying it all out there why you may not see a powder in this video, but we're just gonna dig in. We're gonna take it one product at a time. I'm gonna be chatting with you about the way I've used the products before and how I'm going to try to use them now, and we'll see if we can also do a wear test today, because it's the wear of the products that has me most concerned. So we're going to see how that goes today. One thing that I have here is a spray, and this is called the Always an Optimist 4-in-1 Mist, and they do say to shake it well, because you can see like a little layer of, I guess, an oily consistency product that needs to be mixed in. And this is a 4-in-1 mist. She said it's to prime, set, refresh, and hydrate. So if it's to prime, it might be one of the first things you put on. I've already moisturized, so now I'm gonna put that on. Oops, I didn't do it the way she said to. I did my standard setting spray. She does an X motion. That's different. A lot of it gets on my nose. I don't think it's a big deal. We're just getting the skin misted to start with. We're also gonna bring this back when it's time to set the face, but she also mentioned spraying this into the sponge, which I did get the sponge, spraying the sponge to help product melt into the skin. Now, real quickly, just to talk about this, I'm not going to be using this sponge in this video. The only time you really see Selena messing with it is in her video about the sponge, but in all the other product demos, I don't see see her bringing this in. It's a very unique sponge, both in shape. As you can see, it comes to a point. It's got some large planes across the side, kind of rectangular shape, and then a rounded bottom there. And I think, you know, all the design features, that's a nicely put together sponge. But it's very like, I guess I would say more porous even than a beauty blender. You can look at that and you can see that there's a lot of kind of open hole sort of feel there. And I don't think it feels especially smooth on the skin. Rough would not be an accurate description, but I just felt like when I've used this with the foundation, I feel like I'm moving the foundation around on the skin more. I'm not really helping it melt into the skin. They show using this with multiple products. She says it can be used with anything in the line. But again, for all the individual product demos, she's either using a brush or her fingers, and I just thought, you know, that's one thing I am going to sit aside here because I just really was not a big fan of the texture of that sponge, and I just didn't think it helped work the product into the skin. I got the primer, and I believe this is the smaller size. There's 2 sizes available of this primer, and it's the illuminating primer. And she said to use 1 or 2 pumps and just blend it in with your fingers. So let's see how much we get. 1 pump seems like plenty there, and it has kind of a pearly look, like a gentle pearl finish. As I blend it in, we'll see the difference from where I started and where I go to, but it feels kind of rich actually, like there's a decent amount of moisture in this. So yeah, basically bonus moisturizer with a little bit of added pearly luminosity. I think this is a fine product. I know that I have different illuminating primers from other drugstore brands, and it's not really standing out to me as super unique. It's kind of one of those, okay, it's nice, but I don't think it's an absolute need. Also, I don't notice any scent in this product. Okay, next up we move to the foundation, and I have this in the shade 180W, and the claim here is that it's a really weightless foundation. It feels super light on the skin. It has that kind of velvety lightness as it crosses the skin. You'll feel it. There's a big doe foot applicator in there. You also do want to shake it up, she says, and I feel like it's a natural finish. At first I thought, oh, this is really matte, but once you get it all blended in, you kind of feel like, well, I'm not the mattest of the matte compared to other truly matte foundations, and I'm also not super luminous either, so I feel like it's a kind of a middle ground natural finish on the skin, and it does have a thinness, but if you apply too much of this product, I feel like you do see it sitting on the skin, which is kind of unexpected, right, for a product that is so thin. But if you over apply, like, it's just, it has nowhere to go, and it's just like you're moving product that's sitting on top of the skin. But today I'm going to apply it exactly how Selena showed in her video. So she shook it up, and then she took out the doe foot applicator, kind of like a jumbo sized doe foot, aka buck foot, and she put 2 dots on the forehead. She put 2 on each cheek. Okay, I still feel like it's got a decent amount on there, so I'm not going to dip back in. And then she did 1 on the chin, and she blended it in with her fingers, my friends, for what she called light coverage. So I'm going to do that too. With that amount put on my face, do I have a way bigger face than her? I feel like it's barely enough to get around. I mean, the forehead's nicely covered with 2 dots, but she was really like working it in with her hands and saying this was her light coverage everyday look. If you're completely flawless and have no like skin discoloration issues, maybe doing it that way is no problem for you. For me, I feel like I got very little coverage and I can still see a lot of my problem areas through it. But blending it in with your fingers, you can feel that lightness, and I will tell you what, it works into the skin better than anything and doesn't look like makeup whatsoever on top of the skin. I do think it really lessens the coverage, but my goodness, it does not look like makeup, and I definitely did add a little light coverage there, which is what she claimed. And then she says for more, I watched her do 3 dots on each side of her nose, 2 on the chin, and she blended with a dense brush. I did not buy any of the brushes in this line because frankly I've got brushes for like an entire squad of people if they came over. Like, I got enough brushes. I've also got a hair on my lip that but she added more, and then she claimed to have full coverage. So we're going to dip back in, and I put down that she had like 3 dots on each side of the nose and 2 on the chin. If I add 3 dots, I'm going to add them like here, here, and here. And then I'm going to do a fresh dip, you know, just so we can be equal. Here, 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 and then she had some extra down here. We'll go with that. And like I said, she blended it in with a brush. And a brush with this foundation has been what I've felt like I've gotten the best results with. I think that it works it in better than the sponge, and it maintains the coverage better than anything. Now that we've tried it with fingers, I can definitely say, you know, it worked better than that. But we can't totally hate on fingers because, like I said, it melted it into the skin more effectively than other options. So I'm definitely adding to my coverage here. But isn't that an interesting technique, how she first just blended it in with fingers, and then when she built on it, she'd switched her application method, or her blending method. Instead of using fingers, now she's moved on to a brush to show that you can get really nice coverage with that. I'm just gonna go over the eyes because it's wanting to go there for some reason. And I'm looking at my nose, and it's just that odd situation where I feel like even though this is a really light foundation, I'm seeing the product kind of sitting there. It's like, I wonder if it's not really meshing super well with the primer that's underneath or what, but it's kind of the look where if you've noticed your foundations start to wear down a little bit on the nose, and it just becomes like a little more visible sitting there on top of the skin. I notice it on my nose, but I could kind of see it on the cheek area too. And it's like I'm just seeing some product sitting on the skin, and I don't think we over applied this time. But okay, we've got fuller coverage. I still don't know that I would call that fullest coverage. We did it the way she said, so okay. For the concealer, this is the concealer. This is the size comparison to the foundation. Instead of having a little sphere on top, you've got like a little, I don't know, a jumbo-sized M&M on top. And this, they say, is medium to full coverage, and it's in the shade 150C for me. And the little applicator here is kind of a special shape. It does come out with a ton of product. I would advise scraping some of that off in the tube because it's just, you're gonna be real gooped up if you just go straight to the face from there. But it's got a little angle. Can you see the angle? They say use that flat edge to go across larger areas of the face for your application, and then use the pointed tip for more precise areas. So she did 3 dots under each eye, basically, a little bit in between the brows, and she also did a few dots on the like upper lip sides of the nose area. So I'm gonna get a little more on the applicator than I had. So we'll go boom. Up between the brows and a little bit down here. She kind of went over the lip. And then she blended this all out with like a small to medium sized dense brush. I think this one from Real Techniques will be a pretty good, I wouldn't call it dupe, but try to mimic what she did. And I'm just blending around the eye area here. She did say she recommended going a little brighter with the concealer just for a more brightened look. And so as you can see, my concealer is pretty light, but I'm just dabbing it in, and you can see where we're at here now on the under eye area. I feel like I've got pretty good coverage. They called this one medium to full. I do think it feels a little thinner, like if you just get it in between your fingers, it feels maybe a little thinner than a Tarte Shape Tape type concealer, and not quite as much coverage as that. The interesting thing to me about these products that I've been observing is that while they are on the thinner side, they kind of accentuate textures on my skin more than I thought. Like now I've gone over the nose and I'm seeing even more of, not that I have a lot of texture on my nose, heck, my nose is probably like the smoothest place that I got, but I can see the product kind of sitting there, but the texture around like the eye area right here, I can really see product, you know, and I feel like I've blended it in pretty well. I didn't feel like I put on too much. I've done varying amounts, and it seems like no matter what, I see this stuff just kind of sitting on the skin a little bit more. And maybe if you're free from just any kind of texture, you just don't have that concern so much, but it always looks more makeup-y on the skin, which is surprising because it is so thin. But I would get a better result out of like my Catrice liquid coverage than I would from this. It's just a little surprising. And I really would like to go in and set it with powder, but honestly, even setting the look with powder in past days hasn't done much for me, so maybe I'll just go out on a limb today and not set with any powder. I will add just a little bit of bronzer because I do feel like, I don't know, my skin's looking like it could use a little added warmth. So this is my Physicians Formula. It is the Multicolored Custom Bronzer, and I'm just gonna get some of this around here on the hairline. Skin tone just needs a little perking up, and maybe this will count as just the powder that I use. Another recent foundation that I found myself mentally comparing to this is the NARS Soft Matte, the one that looks like this. And it's kind of another one where I feel like, gosh, I'm getting great coverage with that. It lasts really well throughout the day. It looks very flawless on the skin. And I don't know, I feel like I can do better than the experience I've had with this. But maybe this will last better today. I am applying the things a little bit differently than I had been. All right, so a little bit of bronzer on the face, that helps. Next up, we've got these blushes, and I got the shade called Love, and she says that there's like a dewy or a matte choice with the blushes, and this is one of the matte ones. She said she likes the mattes best because they feel like mousse. I can get where she's coming from with a little bit of lightness. This shade, you know, I may have picked a little bit of a tricky one here because I got kind of a rich color. On the off chance that maybe getting a lighter color I thought wasn't gonna show so much, so I thought go a little deeper, and it can always be perhaps more sheer than it appears. I've had some struggles at times with the blending of this product, but I've never purely just blended it with my fingers, and that is what she does. She says the doe foot has a heart in it. Let's first inspect that. Does it? Oh, it does, down in there where it holds the product. Okay, that's cute. But directly from the doe foot, she started with one dot on each cheek, like that, and then she blended it with her fingers and kind of blended it. Oh my gosh. Haven't I learned yet that I don't need that much product? Oh my word. Are you kidding me? I don't know how I'm gonna recover from this one, guys. It's too much. I didn't think I had that much on. Oh, Selena, help me. It's a lot of blush. We're gonna keep working it in. I would advise not applying it directly from the applicator. Instead, get a little on your finger because you'll be more in touch with how much is actually going on there. I look like I got some sun, do I not? Let's kind of get it going maybe across here to make it look a little more natural. It actually did blend in with my fingers better than I thought it was going to. I thought we were going to be in kind of a point of no return there, but it did blend fairly well. It's like I've been using this though. I'm fully aware that a little bit goes a long way, but dang, I just had more on there than I thought because I showed that heart and then I dipped back in for a fresh amount on there, and I normally would have gone ahead and cleaned it off. Whatever. This doesn't look so bad anymore, does it? I was almost wondering if I was going to need to like do a little more concealer up here or something, but we do have highlighter coming. But the color, what I wanted to say was the color of this is really pretty, and it's kind of different from a lot of things that I have. Gosh, it blended in with fingers better than I've been using. Like this brush from Sigma. It's the Contour Blush F53 Air, and for some reason I felt like I was not really getting it worked in, but this was able to blend in pretty well under kind of a tense circumstance with my fingers, and it didn't disrupt what was underneath. And she said that she designed the blush and the highlight to work with your other liquids, powders, and creams that you might have on the skin and not like create a weird texture thing or be hard to blend out. And I think I was very easily able to blend that out. But I do like the color. I think it looks like a really natural rosy flush. I would just say like maybe go to the fingers first with those dots and just dab them on that way, and then you'll be really like a lot more in touch with it. If you just take the applicator to the skin, it does hold a lot of product. Like, why does it need to hold that much product? I don't think anybody's really gonna need that much. So I can see now blending with fingers seems to be the best method, and I really like the tone, and it's kind of one of my favorite things from the line. She also talked about using it for a little bit of a lip color, which I think this shade would be really good for. Let's try that. It does feel more velvety than I realized on the cheeks. Okay, that shade is so pretty as a lip color. I hadn't tried that till now. I love that. I bet it would wear decently long too, because the blush, I do feel like I can see the blush like throughout the day. I noticed that the blush is there. We are going to take that off because we have other lip colors to use in a bit. Gosh, that kind of stained on contact. But one thing she also did in her blush application, she built it. She was using a different shade than this. It was lighter and softer, and she was able to build it. She went on with one more dot, and then she used a brush to blend it out. So anyway, that's that. Then with the highlighter, I got the shade, wait, that's the concealer. This is the highlighter. The highlighter is a little bigger, a little more chunky looking than the blush, and I got it in the shade Mesmerize. It's the liquid luminizer, and this said this was her go-to shade. Again, designed to play well with powders and liquids and creams, so if you're going on top of powders, she says this should work. She did 2 dots on top of the cheek. Let's just start there. Let's kind of clean off the brush. I think there might be a heart hidden down in there again. She went on top of the high point of the cheek with 2. And she went ahead and she made all her dots. I need more. She made all her dots and then she blended them all. So like it's not going to set too quick. She did bridge of the nose and then she did Cupid's bow. Maybe not that much on the Cupid's bow, but that's okay. This is kind of like world's softest rose gold is how I describe that. And then she blended it out with her fingers. Blending pretty easy with fingers. I think this is the first time I've done that. I've always reached for a brush. And I think this is a beautiful liquid highlight. Got a little much there on that area, but you just kind of swipe it away. Got a little extra on the fingers, so I'll just dab up here. The finger application, again, I think is highly effective. I feel gently glowy. That rosy cheek look actually makes me feel like a child again. Like, I feel like it's a very youthful look. But I like this a lot. Like I said, it doesn't set too fast. I'm trying to think about some kind of front runner type products. Like Wet n Wild has a really nice liquid blush, or liquid highlight, I mean Revolution too. There's definitely some good liquid highlight options out there that you could spend less money on. But as for this line, I kind of think the blush and the highlight are a couple of my faves. Oh, another thing that she did was she put some on the brow bone after she did the face stuff. And she went on saying, ooh, that was a lot. She said how you can highlight your brow bone area with it, or you could do kind of an all over dewy eye. And she said that it's ophthalmologist tested, so you can get away with using it on the eyes. So I'm going to do that today, especially considering that there's no like big eyeshadow palette from this brand. And I kind of went over the eyes with the foundation to neutralize any discoloration there. So I'm just gently dabbing it. I'm not going for a full on like, hey, I just put Vaseline on my eyelids type of trend. I remember seeing that in 17 magazine once and thinking, I don't think I'll ever do that. But I just kind of gently blended it in. I don't really look like overly shimmery. I feel like this really is a gentle luminizer though. I think you could get a strong highlight with it, but it's not just like instant foil upon contact, you know what I mean? Let's swatch some out, in fact. So one swipe on, it's like that, and then you start to blend it. You've got glowing skin, but it doesn't look like metallic and unnatural on the skin. Okay, so we did what she said to do there. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows and then come back for the eyeliner. I did my brows real quick just with my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and then I added some Almay Brow Styler, which I feel like I gotta be running out of pretty soon. This is just a little tinted gel that gives a ton of great hold and a little bit of color. And I got those brows done, and then we're gonna move on to the liner. Like I said, there is no real eyeshadow product happening here. Like Selena said, you can use the highlighter on the eyes, so we've got a little bit of very, very gentle glow happening on the lids. I didn't want to apply too much because, you know, sometimes when you do unintended products on the eyes, you can get a little more of a creasy look. But something that I think is so beautiful about this line and the way she looks in the products is that the eye is so understated, but just with the bold liner, you know, and it looks really pretty. So I'm going to shake this up, which is what she says to do to activate the pigment. You can hear a little shaker in there, just like you do with the foundation. And she actually started with her wing first, which I have never ever done. She winged it first. She did the little triangle thing, you know, which I do where you go out maybe kind of straight from the eye, you build it up from the bottom, and then you fill in what looks like a little triangle. She started there and then she went inward and kind of like, I don't know, tapered off to nothingness as she lined across the lash line. So I'm gonna try that. I've never ever done that. It's like a little brush, a brush tip. And you know, it does work well and it seems to last well on me, but so does this one from Wet n Wild, and it's a brush tip and it lasts really well also. The one that's called Breakup Proof, like that's amazing. This would be a product where I'm gonna use it, I'm gonna think, okay, this is nice, this is working for me, but do you need to spend that kind of money on it? Probably not. Looking up close, I see so much of the texture that I didn't even know I had. It's like a texture spotlight, my God. between the brows. Can we bring it on in here? I'm looking at the area where like my eyebrow meets my open skin area here, like, oh, I can see so much of where that foundation is sitting. Anyway, we're gonna do a wing first. So I'm gonna go straight out from here. This is kind of what she did. Don't steer me wrong, Selena. You go straight out and then come up from the bottom. And she did appear to have a pretty strong wing as she was instructing on this. And then there was also like what looked like a professionally done picture of her on the eyeliner page, and it looks so good. So I'm just getting that all filled in. It's easy enough to use. I feel like product flows out of the tip, you know, at the perfect rate, which she did reference, and I mean that's a nice quality to have. You don't want to be flooded with juiciness. Gotta say, I felt pretty in control doing that wing first, and now I'm edging inward with a really thin amount of product. That was pretty darn easy. Now can I do the left one? So I start going out with my wing because I want to get lift. If I just took the wing right off of this corner, see how the eye, you know, we got this kind of like little almondy shape here. If I just went off of that, we'd be going low. So I try to start that wing before I get to the end of my eye and give that reach for the stars. Okay, out like that. And then out from my ultimate corner of my eye, going up to it. Okay, so then you have that little triangle, and then we just color in, try to stay in the lines. Gosh, I feel like that's the most even wing I've had in a long time. My pen's losing a little juiciness though, like going on top of all this foundation or something. Come on, pen. Sorry, I need complete silence while I do my eyeliner in the complete backwards method. Okay, I'm tapered it off to absolute nothingness as we hit like the inner third of the area here, but I lost some juice as I was making my triangle. But no joke, regardless of what eyeliner I use, that is a method I may continue to do, because you put your focus more on just that shape of your wing, and you're less focused on like the swoop coming into it, you know, that was good. That was a good move. We do not have a mascara from this line, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Okie dokie, friends, I've got some L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara on there. I noticed as I was applying, this is why I don't like to put a bunch of foundation around the eye area. I could see it creasing a little bit there. Hopefully I save myself from some grief later on by noticing this now, and hopefully we don't get any more product in that area. But I get asked a lot, like, why don't you take foundation over your eyes? It's like, do we need any more things right around the lids and the eye? You got giant like crease right there. It's gonna eat product. So I don't usually do that. But I'm just doing my little blinky trick here where you kind of blink down on your finger and get that mascara drying in a nice upturned way. I think that plus the liner, like that looks great. It's a fresh but very defined, very finished look. Then we're gonna do lips, and I got both her lip balm and I got a liquid lip color too. The lip balm is called Dewy Lip Balm, and I got it in the shade called Support. Love the packaging here. She said she designed it in this kind of like dome packaging so you could sit it down. Like if you got, I'm guessing, one of the sheer lighter shades, you might use it before bed, she said, and you could put it on your nightstand. It wouldn't roll away on you. I thought that was thoughtful. And then you twist up and you've got that nice tube hugging the actual lipstick bullet, because, you know, with creamy, shiny products, you definitely want that. Otherwise, you're going to have it getting tippy within the tube. So this shade, let me go ahead and put it on for you. It's really shiny, rich and creamy. It has just the slightest lightly sweet scent. I got to be a little bit careful because, as you can see, it's a bit of a deep shade here, and the tube or the bullet is very rounded, so you could easily get out of line with it. Full on color, one swipe. Like, I did not expect this lip balm to be this colorful. When I chose this shade, I thought, okay, lip balm. Odds are it's going to be more sheer. This goes on like a fully opaque cream lipstick with a shiny finish. That's what you get. It feels really comfortable, really smooth on, but honestly, I'd have to watch this. The shade is pretty deep. It's a pretty creamy product. Let me show you how it looks if you do blot some away. Still need more Kleenex up here, but let's just do this. blot away some of the shine, and you still have like a ton of color there. And it's kind of this like deep, dusty, rosy, rusty sort of tone in there. There's some warmth. I like it, but it doesn't strike me like lip balm. It just, to me, feels like, okay, that you're a cream lipstick, because did you see how much color went on with just one swipe? This ain't no nighttime lip treatment for me, Selena. This is like a serious lipstick. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wipe that away because we've got yet another lip product to show you. But you know, I have worn this before and it wears pretty well, honestly. I remembered noting by a certain point in the day I should have lost a lot of color, but I had a nice little bit of, I guess, staining left behind. And we have this lip souffle, and I have it in the shade called Inspire, and they said this was Selena's signature shade, so go big or go home. She said she used the method of basically kind of lining and defining the lips and then filling them in. Our tip here is a kind of like a pinched doe foot. It's not super like pointed or shaped at the tip, and it's not a real unusual size. She started right up here. Normally, I would go ahead and fill in the bottom lip so I would take care of sort of an excess of product, because where you first put your applicator, you know, quite a bit goes. So I got a little more on there than I feel like I need now, but let's just spread. It's a beautiful bright red. I love the color. And this is going to be matte, by the way, in case I didn't say that. Going around the outside, and then really using the side of the applicator. It holds a surprising amount of product for not being really dipped in, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. That shade is Dynamite. That's the kind of color that makes you feel like $1,000,000. The feeling is very, very comfortable. Like, it does not feel like matte liquid lipstick, but also it does not set in like a zero transfer matte liquid lip. So I was recently talking about something from Maybelline where you put on that matte ink and it's not going anywhere, you know, like it really will dry down and it will not be coming off on your cups and your people and other things. And this one, it will. So you're gonna sacrifice something there if you want to have that comfortable feel, which it does feel totally comfortable. I mean, like, if I mush my lips together, I can feel still a certain amount of creaminess there. But at the same time, it doesn't feel out of control. You know, there's nothing goopy about it. So I do feel like I could trust the product, you know, to not really be feathering out and getting messy. But as I wear this throughout the day, what I've noticed is that I do have a real wear down in the center part of the lip first, so I can tend to see a pretty distinct line that develops around the outside. It doesn't have a fully like even wear. This probably has more of an even wear, the lip balm, creamy lipstick type stuff, than this one does, because I do think it's trying to hang on, but where you are, you know, drinking and eating and all that, it's not a transfer proof product. There's a beautiful red actually from the Maybelline matte ink. If you're looking for beautiful transfer proof red, and believe the color is called Pioneer. You might look into that. But this is so pretty. Like, I can't deny how beautiful that looks, and it does feel nice. And if you're willing to stay on top of it, maybe do a little touch up, this is the kind of product that would not be bad to touch up, because again, it's not drying down like that complete separate layer. You know, I wouldn't want to touch this up without first fully removing it, because it's its own little world there on your lips. It's drying down. It's a substance sitting there. This, if you wanted to touch it up, it wouldn't be a big deal to do so. So it's all about expectations. You know, if you expect all day wear, if you want this to be worn under a mask and not touch your mask and transfer off, like this would transfer off. So guys, this is my full face of Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez. I really liked that she did take the time to get on there and shoot a video about each separate thing. I think that was useful, and I think it did help me in some situations, as you saw. I still feel like with the foundation, oh, I forgot to go ahead and set again with the setting spray. Let's do that. Let's try the X again. All right, I like that spray, by the way. It's got a very, very light scent to it. I think it does add a little hydration. It's got a really nice sprayer. I enjoy the mechanism it's coming out of. It's not getting big droplets on you. It works well. However, I do have a lot of good setting sprays, so I can't say like I need this one above all else. And it also hasn't really proven to enhance my staying power in any way, although that's not really a huge claim with it, I don't think. But what I was saying was I just can't get past the fact that the foundation really is clingy to certain texture areas. And I wouldn't go describing my skin to someone as super textured, like, oh, I got all these texture concerns. But it was like, this made me realize that I do have some, and they're right around here, and like my under eye area, little lines, like it's becoming more so now that I've worn it and I've talked and I've expressed with my face, and I can see now more little lines around here. And keep in mind, I didn't even go all up in there with a powder, okay? We didn't do any setting powder right up under the eye today, and it's not looking its best. And around the nose, I just feel like I see product, and I really did make the effort to work it in. So for that reason, like the foundation and the concealer, the coverage products here, I just don't love the way they look on the skin. And I think about, again, if we're talking thin and beautiful on the skin, that Catrice HD liquid coverage, my gosh. But what I did really enjoy, I really like this liquid blush, and I like the color. And once I blended that stuff in with my fingers, I mean, granted today, like I felt like I got way too much on. I may have built to this exact color on my cheeks and this exact look, but I would have done it a little slower. You know, I would have done tiny dot and then some more, but I was sort of trying to describe and mess around with the applicator, and I got more than I thought I was getting. But this is kind of a toasty red shade, and I thought it was beautiful on the cheeks. And when I put that on the lips for the first time today, stunning, great fall look. And sometimes I might say like, okay, we're going for a really youthful, really livened up cheek look. Let's grab that light pink or that light cool pink maybe. But I thought this looked downright youthful on the skin, like actual kind of sun-kissed skin, just been outside kind of skin. Again, with the color tone, that little bit of warmth in it gives me kind of a fall vibe. I like that a lot, and I really did like this too. The luminizer I thought was pretty. I thought it, again, these both blended in well with the fingers, probably better with the fingers, definitely the blush better with the fingers than with a brush. So I did feel like I kind of learned something and had some takeaway from her videos on those elements. I just think they're really pretty together. The eyeliner, I think it's beautiful. I thought it went on pretty well, got a little dry on one side, but I can do just as well with the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof. And the lip colors, I'm running out of battery. Lip color is absolutely beautiful, but is not going to be budge proof, and you got to kind of watch it on the deeper shades of these really, really creamy and very pigmented lip balms. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think if you've tried this line, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye. All right, we're doing a little remote learning here. Say hi. Got her blue light glasses on, and I'm just taking a little break to check in on the staying power of this makeup, and it's been on for now 4 hours, and it's 10 o'clock as I shoot this. I am having a little like creasing of product in the eye area because remember I put on foundation there, I also put on highlighter, so while the eyes may be able to technically tolerate having highlighter there, you know, it doesn't last wonderfully. The lip color, even through some eating and drinking, oh, look who's back behind. The lip color is actually wearing pretty evenly so far. The foundation on the skin, I'm seeing a little texture in some areas. Remember, I really didn't powder this look outside of just some bronzer. So it's not looking terrible, and I think the color, the blush on the cheeks is really, really nice, and that's really kind of like saving things for me. I feel good seeing that, but I'm just seeing a little more texture and, you know, starting to see maybe a little oiliness in some areas too. So that's my 4-hour check-in. We're back at it with our afternoon school session. You want to hold up what you just did? Cut and paste, baby. Such a good little student. And I just wanted to check in and show you the oil that's happening on my forehead and nose. And product is looking a little broken down. I mean, I'm not looking like, so terrible. But I just feel like I'm pretty shiny up in here and on the nose. And I probably could have used a touch up somewhere there. But I'm just trying to let you see how it all wears. The lip color is still not wearing down too bad at this point in time. I'm seeing a lot of color still, but the wear down isn't like really bad, and I feel like it's even kind of stained a little bit in some areas. Really, staying power has been a pretty weak point from this stuff, even when I do take the time to set it with powder, which it kind of surprises me. It tends to look very broken down by the end of the day, and then I look up close in mirrors and I can see like just the texture in certain areas, and I'm not loving that. Baba! Baba! Bubba says, what are we doing? What are we doing over here? I think this is as good as I can do for the lighting for our last check-in here. I really feel like, guys, I've gotten pretty oily. Oily around the nose, oily around the forehead. I mean, this is what happens when you don't set your makeup really at all. But the main thing that's kind of, you know, irritating me a little bit is just all the texture that I can see. And I know it may not always translate on camera, but looking up close in little creases under the eyes, texture in the little under eye dip right in there, between the eyebrows, sides of the nose, there's just areas where pretty much the entire day, like from right after the application, I felt like I was seeing the makeup more than I wanted to. Now it's kind of this combination of, yes, it's wearing down, but I'm seeing it still in ways I don't want to see it. So it's just not my favorite foundation, and I feel like I've given it a lot of shots. I've tried applying it in different methods. Lip color has not been touched up all day, so this is what you get. As you can see, this color fades and still leaves some color behind, but we've still got that more prominent amount of color right up in this zone. So maybe you could just kind of, I don't know, blend that around with your finger a little bit. I still feel like maybe I'm seeing a little bit of that blush. I don't know. I think so, maybe. The eyeliner, I feel, is kind of fading a little bit, especially there on the outsides. I will say, took a couple walks today. The wind was just intense, and that kind of makes my eyes water a little bit. So I know my eyes were watering a bit from the outside, and that may have cause some wear in the outer corner. I don't always notice that though with this eyeliner every time, but I do see it today. So that's the full wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was informative. Let me know your thoughts if you've tried anything from this line. What were your experiences like? And I will talk to you again very soon. Bye everybody.